Before I start this review, I just want to say that I'm saying the word monster and summon/summon something way too often in this review, but I did not find any true synonyms besides like a familiar or something like that, so I decided to just go for it and count the number of times I will say monster or summon, summoner, summonable, blah blah blah. So I apologize in advance. Masumon KIDS, or Master of Monsters Kids, or Masumon KIDS, the Another World of the Master of Monsters, is a tactical/strategy RPG released for the PlayStation 1 in 1998. It's the 5th game in the Master of Monsters series, and I believe it was meant to appeal to a younger audience by making all characters super deformed with bright colors. This, however, is not an easy game. There are so many battles where I clutched victory with one final character on the map, and a few other missions that I simply had to retry because I lost. I found the beginning of the game to be particularly difficult, but once I got used to the game's mechanisms, it became much more manageable, even if it never really turned out to be an easy peasy walk in the park. If you've played tactical RPGs before, such as Final Fantasy Tactics, or Tactics Ogre, or Jeanne d'Arc, you know how this works. Characters move on a grid-like map, and some move farther than others, and some have ranged attacks, and some melee attacks, and some can cast spells, etc, etc. The thing with Masumon KIDS is that some of your characters are summoners. They can summon minions, or cute little monsters to fight alongside you. For the first third of the game, only Kairi, the main character, can summon. Eventually, other summoners will join your party, and you will be able to choose before every battle which character you want to use as your summoner. Each summoner can summon 3 different types of monsters every battle, and the game lets you know before a mission what monsters you'll be able to summon for that particular mission. The monsters are pre-assigned to each mission, and they cannot be changed, but different summoners cast different monsters, so pick the one that has your favorite cutesy monster for the mission at hand. As you'll progress through the game, the summonable monsters will get stronger too. Each monster costs orbs to summon, and there are 6 different types of orbs. Every monster can cost any mix of any of these types, so before each mission, there's a shop in which you can buy orbs. Make sure you have enough of the required color or type for the monsters that your summoner will bring out in the upcoming mission. You can also get orbs in battle from fallen enemies by stopping on a tile where they died. Besides orbs, you can buy spell books for your summoners. Those spells will let you heal or cast magic spells, as you would expect. Some spells can only target one enemy, while others will target a larger area or multiple enemies. Once that's done, set out to battle. Battles usually have 1 or 2 clear conditions, mostly in the first half of the game. Later missions will usually have only 1 clear condition: exterminate the bad guy. But in the earlier missions, one of them even had 3 clear conditions. Other possibilities besides getting rid of the main enemy summoner include escaping, stopping in front of a statue, or having a choice of which enemy summoner you want to get rid of when there's more than one on the battlefield. Once the clear condition is met, you automatically win, and any monsters that are still alive will be warped out of existence in front of your very eyes. What I found to be annoying, however, is that you can only summon on magic circles, so your summoner is likely to not move at all for the entire fight, focusing solely on bringing new monsters onto the battlefield. But your enemies will keep summoning too, which can feel overwhelming at times, especially in the beginning of the game. It feels like your adversary will just summon forever, and you're like, how am I ever gonna reach them? But eventually, you learn that your main characters can often one-shot kill summon enemy monsters, and you just have to push your way through and only target the summoner as soon as you can. Summons that have ranged attacks are also great at taking out summoners, as they can bypass the blockade of monsters, if you will. Elves were some of my favorite summons in the game, because with a range of 3 or 4, depending on a type of elf, they've truly been amazing at getting the job done. And Kairi, the only summoner at the beginning of the game, soon became my go-to attack tank as soon as I was able to replace her, because she was so powerful. She was always instrumental in the victories. And that's the gist of how the game works. Choose a summoner, shop, battle. Rinse and repeat for 31 missions, and actually a little bit more since some missions are divided into 2 distinct parts. The graphics are great. I love that popping, colorful style and the SD characters. It's just so cute. Character animations are also gorgeous, their faces being ridiculously expressive when they get hit. The story is interesting enough, although it involves one kingdom trying to stop another from waging war after bringing back a forbidden spell, which is classic enough. There's a slew of bad guys, many of them working with or against each other, which always makes things much more interesting. There's also a point in the game where our heroes will be sent from their high fantasy medieval world to a world they had no idea existed. Our own modern world with cars and school gyms and Japanese temples. Dark magic has shown up there too, and our heroes, separated again, have to ally themselves with ancient rivals and find each other once more. NGL, it's pretty cool. The writing can also be pretty funny, but of course it's all in Japanese. One part I'm not sure about is the music. While some of the tunes are pretty good, they are much too short and come back way too often, while others only show up in a single mission. And other annoying repetitive tunes also show up much too often. I wish the quality of the music had been more consistent throughout. Overall though, I'm happy I pushed through and played through the entirety of the game. I almost gave up on mission 3, but after a ridiculous clutch to victory, I decided to go for just one more. And the rest is history. The game gradually became more fun, less difficult, and felt less cheap as a result, and I ended up really liking it. I give this game a 7 Death Dark Elves out of 10. Because crazy ranged attack for the win, baby!